Nick with Safety Reloaded. Today I want to talk about backup guns. A little bit of the mentality that I have on it and some of the ways I carry a backup gun. The first thing to consider when carrying a backup firearm is why are you carrying a second gun? For me, it's a force multiplier. I carry a second firearm in the event that I need someone else with me to be armed as well. We live in a day and age where there's potentials for attacks everywhere, from a single person to multiple assailants. It's nice to be able to take my second gun out, hand it to another person I trust, and say, okay, it's time to go to work. Not everyone that has a concealed carry permit or is trained carries their gun on a regular basis, which I, don't agree with, obviously, but in those situations, I'm prepared for both of us. Now, there's another mentality with backup guns where, well, what happens if my primary gun malfunctions or if I run out of ammunition? Well, those are two very rare situations we shouldn't even have to worry about talking about. One, carry enough ammunition. If you think you're going into a situation where you're going to need more ammo, carry more ammo. Simple as that. If you have the honest concern that your primary firearm is going to malfunction at any given time, maybe that shouldn't be your primary firearm. Maybe you should look at something more reliable. The smartest and fastest thing you can do when you have a malfunction in your firearm is address the malfunction, not toss the gun and reach for a backup. If it's a jam, if it's a double feed, failure to eject, whatever it is, the likely answer is you're going to be able to clear the malfunction faster than you can get to a backup gun. In my experience and in my opinion, the only two malfunctions you can experience that could truly take your gun out of the fight is a broken firing pin or a squib load. Neither of these two issues are common occurrences. Anything beyond those two, I think you can address quickly and in the fight and keep going. Now, some people may argue that I can't take more ammo no matter what I do. Well, then you may not be wanting to go to the area you're going that you think you'll need all this additional ammo for. Now, if you honestly can't in any way, shape, or form carry more ammunition with you to deal with a threat you credibly think will happen, then a backup gun's not a bad idea. Now, on the same token, if you think your primary firearm may have a catastrophic failure, or you're not going to be able to process the failure in the field, then a backup is also a good idea at this point. Make sure your backup gun, though, is 100% reliable, something you know is going to function, something like a revolver. When I carry a backup gun, I always make sure I carry the same calibers. So if it's a 9mm primary, the backup's a 9mm. This way, in the event there is a catastrophic failure, I can scavenge the ammo from the primary to keep restocking the secondary. Now, when I carry revolvers, I do have a little bit of a different stance. My primary is going to be loaded with .357 Magnum, and my backup's going to be .38 Special. Besides being a smaller gun that can handle the .38 better, all of the spare speed strips that I take with me will be loaded with .38 Special, so both firearms can function off the additional ammo I bring. Now that we've kind of talked about reasons why you might carry a backup gun, let's talk about ways you might carry the backup gun. For me, there are two primary ways I'm going to carry a spare firearm. The first is going to be in the pocket. Whether it's a front pocket, rear pocket, cargo pocket, or whatever it might be, that's a nice, easy way to carry them. One thing I like to consider when I'm carrying in the pocket is whether or not the firearm is a safety. The SIG 290 does not have a safety on it, so when I carry that in my pocket, I don't carry a round in the chamber. Again, for me, this is a force multiplier, so I don't have to worry about that immediate need to have a round in the chamber. Now, that being said, the bodyguard does have a safety, so I will carry one in the chamber on that one. I do recommend you use a holster with a trigger guard. If you just toss your gun in your pocket without one, if you throw change or something else in your pocket forgetting that the gun's in there, you may easily have an accidental discharge. A good holster with a trigger guard can prevent an unnecessary discharge. The other way I like to carry my backup is in an ankle holster. There are a ton of options out there, and I'm sure if you look hard enough you can find a way to carry a Taurus Judge in an ankle holster. Although things to consider, even with a Taurus Judge, is making sure it's going to fit comfortably under your clothes, and your clothes are going to be loose enough that you can actually reach the firearm in an emergency. Two things you really want to contemplate when carrying on the ankle is, are you going to carry it on the inside of your leg or outside? Are you going to carry it on your non-dominant or on your dominant leg? I prefer non-dominant inside leg, and I'll show you why. Besides being very easy to reach and draw from, it also allows me the opportunity to pull with my non-dominant hand in the event my dominant hand is incapacitated. Carrying outside on the dominant leg makes it very easy to get to and very quick. However, trying to reach the same firearm with your non-dominant arm is much more of a problem. Other things to look at is whether or not it's going to have a thumb brake on it. I highly recommend that. The thumb brake can keep the firearm in place even when you're running. The last two things I'd consider is whether or not it's going to have a calf strap so it can sit a little higher up on your ankle and not poke out from underneath your jeans. And the other thing is whether or not it's got the ability to carry other accessories with you, such as a spare magazine. Now, as we move on to look at pocket holsters, how this actually works is there's a piece of sticky material in the bottom of the holster, so as you pull the gun, it stays in place. Now, as you can see, sitting in my pocket, it doesn't print. And if it does, it can be easily mistaken for a wallet or a cell phone. Yet, you can still access it. If you wanted to, you could even keep it in your back pocket like a billfold. Again, it's very easily concealed, doesn't print at all, and still allows for quick, easy access while keeping the holster in place. Something else to consider when you're deciding what you're going to use for your backup or what holster you're going to use is the action of the firearm. With a bob hammer revolver or an internal hammer revolver, you don't have to worry about it catching anything. You can actually fire the firearm from your pocket and not cause any issues because everything is going to miss catching on your pocket. The same thing with a double action only semi-automatic. Something like this bodyguard has the hammer very far receded in there, so it's not going to catch on anything. But now the downside of having it in your pocket or on your ankle, so I don't know if you can see, but it gets dirty as hell. Everything in there picks up the lint, the fry, salt, everything that you have throughout your day is going to wind up in the gun. So you're really going to need to clean the firearm more frequently. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on backup carry, my philosophy and how I do it. If you enjoyed it, give us a like or subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have something else you want us to review or take a look at. And as always, this is Nick with Safety Reloaded. Keep training.